This is Andrew for CollectionDX.com, the review of Transformers Masterpiece Tracks, the latest Autobot car in the Masterpiece line. So here he is as a nice 80s Corvette Stingray C3. I know that because I read it on the box. He's just kind of a lovely, nice, all fully painted sparkly blue plastic. He's got 4 plastic tires, non-rubberized, but you know, he rolls pretty well. None of this stuff on the bottom gets in the way. And I gotta say, I mean, some people are a little apprehensive about a Masterpiece car being done without the involvement of Shogo Hasui. If that's actually what's going on, I don't know. But I think he's pretty much as good as any of the other ones. I just think any of the weird issues and flaws with this toy are just more the fact that track is kind of a difficult subject to tackle, I think. So, not a whole lot to say about him in car mode. He does come with a couple of accessories I can show off here right now. You get Raoul from Make Tracks. Everybody likes Raoul. He's a cool guy. You get a tiny, roughly in scale blaster. He has his black beam gun, which I actually just have stored right in here. In car mode. You can also put the blaster in there, but you can only do one of these accessories at a time. I've seen people try to cram both of them in there, but there's really only room for one at a time. And to get this thing out, you do have to partially transform him. So I'll show you that when we go to flight mode. And there's also the little front beam gun thing that just attaches right in here, where his license plate would go, and you just sort of put it in like this. You stick it at an angle, get the little tabs in, and just put it in like that. This is more for flight mode, but it is a removable accessory. Unfortunately, they couldn't just have it be part of him, but oh well. So yeah, he looks pretty nice. There are some gaps in his in the car mode, just mostly around where the windshield meets the front, but I think that just might be my copy of the toy, or the fact that, again, he's kind of a complex figure. The easiest gimmick to show off in his car mode is you can open up his hood here, or bonnet, as they call it in some countries. And there's all the Cybertron engine detailing, and you can imagine Raoul just cutting that one wire that somehow turned tracks off. But anyway, this is also part of the transformation. That's why it's on a double joint. And I'll just show some quick scale comparisons. One that I think you might all find is pretty neat. So here's this tiny blaster, and here it is with an actual G1 blaster. And if you've never had one, blaster was a huge toy. So here he is there. Tiny little blaster and actual blaster. Ready for size changing. So Trax, he's about 6 inches long in car mode, and he fits in with the other Masterpiece Autobot vehicles. Here he is with Optimus Prime. Here he is with Sideswipe. And here he is with Prowl as well. So here's a good spread of Masterpiece Transformers cars. Also, you can rest assured knowing that yes, Trax does fit in MP-10's trailer. If Takara Tomu shows it off all the time, I will too. So Tractus Transformation is basically an evolution of what the Masterpiece Lamborghinis do. But it does have a couple of tricky parts just because there's a lot packed into this vehicle mode. So, and also the fact that he's sort of a triple changer, and I believe he's actually maybe the first triple changer for Masterpiece. So to start off, you're going to move his wings, and these are on a very tight joint, so just kind of be careful when moving them, because you're going to want to bring them out like this, or you can also leave them facing the other way, actually, but you can do that for now. And start with flight mode. There's a couple of tabs right here, just where well, it's actually kind of right in the middle of the door, but whatever. So you're just going to pull this, and the whole thing is going to start to come off. And there's a double hinge armature on the inside. Yeah, this is why you have to be sort of careful with where you position these wings back here, because you don't want to get them hung up on anything as you're transforming him. So here we go. Just kind of get that out and past all this garbage. Alright, and his arms are just down here. And you just sort of bring them out. And there, you can see there's these little pin joints here, kind of flat-headed pins. And you actually pull this whole assembly out. You can see there's a little space for it. So that's going to come out and lock in place. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So just kind of pull that out like that. Okay. So with his arms, you're just going to want to make sure, get them so that this tab here goes into the side here for flight mode. You're actually going to notice that for whatever reason, Trax has ratcheted elbows. It's like, and they're not the best, and I'm kind of mystified as to why he needs ratcheted elbows. I guess maybe because Road Rage has a bigger gun, because she's the going to be the first repaint of this mold. But anyway, so with this, I actually, yeah, there it goes. That clicked in. I was playing around with them yesterday, and it wasn't quite clicking in right there. But all you just sort of do is position this so that this part is down a little bit and this part is out. And you just get his bicep in the right position. Just sort of line this up as best as you can. It's actually good if you put your finger right here, then put your thumb right here. And that's a better way to work that tab in there. Alright, and so to finish this off, you're just going to stick all this back in. Oh, and also there's a couple of things you need to do with the bottom section here. I actually didn't notice this at first, but with his little guns or missiles or whatever they are over here, they're actually supposed to be in this position for flight mode. I'm not sure really why. I guess maybe they're part of the jets that make him fly. But yeah, so you just kind of do that. I'm going to bring his wheels down a bit. And this is all just going to fit back together. And again, these are really tight, the little gray joints that the wings are on. So I'd recommend rotating them like right at the joints so you don't break anything. Of course, not that he feels like a fragile figure, just that, you know, it's always good to use kid gloves on certain Transformers. And also he has a pair of little pop-up tail fins, which weren't on the original toy, but were in the cartoon. Just sort of work your hand in here, and you can get them to pop up. And here we go. Flight mode. Alright, so we have Trax in flight mode. This is what he looked like in the cartoon. The original toy had a flight mode. He's a flying car. I mean, he's, you know, not a bad looking flying car. He's no car for Mask, whatever that thing was called. I can't remember right now. And this is really where you're supposed to use the little front gun to sort of complete the look of the flying car. I do appreciate that Takara Tomy included an actual flight stand, and this thing is pretty much like any modern flight stand. It has one really tight ratcheting joint at the base. It has just kind of a regular set of moving joints that have adjustable screws right here for tension, and what you can do with this is there's just a hole right in the back here. And you can just stick Trax up on the stand. And here you go. Now there is a proper flying car for your desk. A flying car? How droll! Anyways, let's go on to robot mode. So, well, we're kind of halfway there with his arms being out. So all you really have to do is put these away, and Also, as I'm doing this, I am going to just pop off his side view mirrors. Much like with a lot of recent Masterpiece toys, they come on a sprue. You even get, a pair of extra ones. They don't seem to fit too well on mine. I might have to, like, just file down the ends a little bit to get them to stay in, but, just kind of be aware of that. Minor nitpick. So with his backpack here, this is going to become that thing that he always had above his head. You can just flip this whole rear of the car up like that. And these are going to just position themselves down like that. You can bring his wings down a bit. You just kind of want to leave him out of the way. Untab his forearms here from the sides of the car. And to expose his fist, do a really cool thing. So you've got the intake here. And what it does is you just flip it out like this. And then match this side with this gap right here. And you can just rotate the whole thing out using the intake as a lever, and here's his hand. That is really cool. That's probably one of the slickest pieces of engineering I've seen on a Masterpiece car in a while. Not to say the others aren't cool, but it's Trax. Trax is the coolest. And you just bring this thing out again. Unlike the original toy, you're actually going to flip this whole assembly out like this. And while we're here, I'll just position these wings up as far as they'll go, and this whole thing is going to get worked on as I'm transforming him. These are going to come out like this again. You just want to, also you want to bring back his car hoodie thing here. These are going to be positioned like this, angled upwards for robot mode, and also you're going to start transforming the front part of the car. And the way it works is that these doors here, they're on a hinge, and they just kind of move out of the way. And also the door itself hinges outward like that. So this is going to form part of his back. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Remember, you actually might have to lift his windshield up just to give this little tab here room to move. So you can do that, and this, and all this just kind of gets put in the back here. Now, they're not too clear on it in the instructions, but you're going to see there's a tab just kind of right here on the end of the back of the car, just right in here. And there are slots right on the sides here where this is all just going to fit in. So you just sort of like work it so that those tabs are slid in right there. On the whole like roof assembly, you're going to bring out, you're just going to move his move this thing so it's got room. Actually, I should take his gun off there. And while I took the gun off, I'll just show you real quick. This is where Blaster goes. Oh, actually, Blaster has a tab right on the bottom here. And this is where he would store while Trax is in car mode. And unfortunately, yeah, you can't really put both of these at the same time. Although, again, I've seen people try to do it, but I'm not going to. So Trax's head is back here. You just sort of flip this up. And I believe you're supposed to pull this so that it clips, it kind of clips back a bit so it doesn't want to go downward again. So now he has kind of a proper neck. And he also has a symbol that flips out. Oddly enough, this was a rub sign in the original toy, and in the cartoon it was actually a yellow-backed Autobot symbol. I don't think it had black outlines though, but whatever. But I'm pretty sure he always had that out in car mode, so I don't know why they gave him the symbol flip gimmick, but it's there if you want a more cleaner looking Autobot car who still has this, giant Trans Am style flame decal on the front. But anyways, so with the lower body, what you're going to do, and also up here there's a couple of slots that go into tabs underneath. the roof assembly, and you're just sort of like trying to massage that so it's in the right place. So just rotate his legs around, expose the happy smiling crotch. Do you see it? You will always see it now. And we're going to work on his legs. So with the legs, the two halves of his hood or bonnet are just tabbed together right here. You can just kind of gently pull these apart. And there's a tab going from one end to the other on the bottom of his, or the front of the car. And this is kind of hard to get out. There it goes. I'm going to have to work on it a little bit. So you do that, bring this down on a double hinge so that the halves of the hood are just kind of as far back down as they can go. You actually pull out the side here, the whole side of the front of the car, work his angle joints into position, and then this will slide back in. So that forms the side of his legs. And this part here, what you're going to do is bring it up out like this, and you basically make it do a 180, and now that's the front of his legs. So that's pretty cool. It's not the most obvious way you would do it, but that's why we have Masterpiece Transformers. So you do the same thing on this side, just pull this out and pop this around. And here we go. Masterpiece tracks in robot mode. Just straighten them out real quick. And he also has ratcheted knees. I don't know why he has those either. Anyway, Masterpiece tracks. So here's tracks with fellow Autobot cars, Smokescreen, Sideswipe, and also Big Leader MP-10 Optimus Prime. So you can see he's a little bit taller than the others. He's like about 7.5 inches tall. And even the box says it's like, oh, he's in scale because he's a little bit bigger than the other Autobots, like he was in the cartoon. It's like, that's cool. No, but he looks nice with them. He's got still kind of following the same style. I don't really see a big shift. Again, if he was designed by a different guy other than Shogo Hasu, I guess it would be the guy Kobayashi, who's the toy designer now for Masterpiece. But anyway, he still looks pretty good. With his fellow Autobot cars, and for no reason whatsoever, here he is with Combiner Wars Dead End. Alright, now let's focus on Trax himself. So, I know what you're thinking. What's up with the gap in his ankles? Well, if you want to hide it a little bit, you can just move the joint just back like that, and it just makes his feet a little bit shorter. But really, this is here so that you can actually get a good amount of articulation out of his ankle joints, because there's a full tilt right here, and there's also another forward and back joint right there. The only thing is that these things are they're very tight, and they're on like this weird kind of like C-shaped bracket here, so it can be hard to just kind of like get a good grip on them and to make them move properly. His hips, and here, let me make sure I have this all pegged in correctly. Anyway, so his hips, they're kind of the basic, it's a universal hip joint. The front of the happy crotch plate moves up so that you can give him more room to move around. His knees, they have ratchets. I don't know why. Maybe that is a touch of Kobayashi in this toy or some other designer besides Hasui. I mean, he doesn't really need him. He's not like really top heavy, and it's kind of weird because when you go back to car mode, his knee has to actually be like a bit forward. Like, let me show you, kind of in that classic anime robot lean right there. But it should really more be like this for just for like regular robot mode. But yeah, just kind of be aware of that. I've heard on one of my friends that the leg ratchet was squirrely, and again, I don't really understand like why it's here. It just seems unnecessary. You actually notice he actually has some of the detailing from the old box art, this kind of like Gundam-y calf thing right there. So that's kind of cool that they put it on the toy as well. His arms, they've got pretty good range of motion, although sometimes it feels like this part doesn't want to stay tabbed in right there, but let's work with that. There's basically like a whole bunch of joints in here. They are kind of weird though, because like this has to sit in front of the wing right here, and also the backpack. I mean, the official instructions kind of show it more like out here like this, but you really kind of want it here like this for the more complete look. But you know, you have options. So if you really want to get some more space back there to move his shoulder tires around, you can just kind of leave it back like this and then pull it back inwards if you want just a more complete look to it. And people ask me, it's like, what do you think about the backpack? Because, you know, he's kind of hollow through here. It's like, well, he's Trax. You knew this was going to happen. The back turns into, in the back of the car turns into this thing here. And really, no matter what they do, you're going to have this window here that's going to make it see-through. So, yeah. Plus, this is where, like, his arms go, and also this thing here, which wasn't on the original toy. That was a separate piece. So, yeah, they had to stuff a lot of stuff in there. Stuff a lot of stuff. But, yeah, that's my my opinion on the backpack. It's a backpack. It looks fine. It's fine, guys. He's got a nice little ball-jointed neck. This thing actually moves forward because of how you click it past the little kind of cuff right here. So he can kind of look down past his little collar here, his techno collar. And, you know, it looks nice. He doesn't have any, like, pull-out faceplates or anything like that, so you can't give him the more toy-like look. Maybe they're going to do that with the eventual, like, black variant, which I'm sure they are going to make, because they're already making Road Rage, who is also based on a Diaclone figure. And as I showed you before, he's got rotating biceps and ratcheting elbows. This one's a bit better than the other one. I don't get it. This one's kind of off. I mean, he still poses fine, but it's just weird that they added ratcheted joints when none of the other Autobot cars really have them. But anyway, so while I have him standing, oh yeah, and obviously he has that waist joint because that's part of his transformation, but also he's got a bit of a waist tilt right here. And that seems to be just to get the front part of the windshield away from the waist as you're moving it around like that. So, yeah. Yeah, when moving him, I think it's better to just kind of grab him like this to twist his waist around. Anyway, while I have him standing straight up, I'm going to bring out little Raoul again. So, you know, it's a nice little bit of scaling there with a person and his talking robot car friend. Also, Raoul is roughly the same size as the Spike that comes with MP-10, and obviously the other Spike and Daniel that come with Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. So, you know, they're looking pretty good. You can try to shake his hand, but poor Raoul, he's just a static figure, which, you know, I'm okay with that. You know, he looks pretty good there. Doesn't have any eyes, but whatever. So anyway, Trax, what's he got? He has his little black beam gun. And same with pretty much every Masterpiece Transformer. He just sort of fit this inside and tab it in to his palm so that he can hold it. And you'll notice that it is not like the big hand-covering rifle thing that the toy had. Road Rage is going to come with that. This is the cartoon-accurate version of the same weapon. But it's okay. One cool thing, though, is because of his, like, multiple arm or shoulder joints right there, he can very easily get two hands on his pistol. Basically kind of like this, and his neck has a very good range of motion, so you can totally get him, like, starting to, like, sight the pistol or, you know, kind of do proper, cool-looking warrior poses. Yeah, he's actually pretty fun to mess around with, and he looks really good when posing. It seems like people were kind of lukewarm to him at first because he doesn't quite have the wow factor as some of the other Masterpiece toys, but I think that's just because we've gotten so many Masterpiece cards at this point that, what's this one going to do that the other ones can't? And the best he's got is a flying car mode. But no, he's neat. Also, I appreciate that you can use the stand in robot mode. All you got to do is just straighten this out, move that joint around, and he's got a little hole in the back where it should be, so that you can use the stand while Trax is in robot mode. And it's cool because now you can like do John Woo flying through the air with gun poses. And it's neat. It makes him feel a bit more like a typical like Japanese collector's toy, where it's like, oh, they always come with stands, like Bandai Tamashii Nation stuff, or whatever. So yeah, I like Masterpiece Trax. I actually think he's a pretty good figure. I think the one thing that helps him is the fact that he's not really like a typical looking robot or Transformers car. Even like he's not even really as like standard looking as Wheeljack. But he does kind of fall in between like say the Datsun cars and Wheeljack as far as like execution and just kind of like the amount of engineering. So he's kind of like a pleasant in the middle as far as Masterpiece Transformer cars go. I definitely like him though, so yeah, I'd recommend him, and I'm looking forward to getting Road Rage when she comes out, because she'll be the first official Masterpiece female Transformer. That's going to be cool, and this seems like a really good mold. So I certainly hope to see it at least a couple more times. Alright, so this has been Andrew from CollectionDX.com. Thank you for watching, and let's all love Trax. Trax is a cool guy. He got 2 episodes in the cartoon.